Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. You will notice we are sans one Craig Brooks, but plus one Stone Cold Steve Austin and one Mike Spillane. We've traded up. We traded Craig for a compensatory Stone Cold and Mike Spillane straight up. And you know what? I think we won the deal. Craig's new nickname, for those of you that didn't listen to one of our later pods last week, is now Booger Sniffer. And the Booger Sniffer has moved out, and we have Mike Lil Doodles Spillane with us. Lil Doodles, thank you so much for thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to start our pick'em, but we are going to start the right way. I did not start last week the way that I said I was going to, where I let everyone know how we're doing in our pick'em. Last week, actually, Mike Spillane was our champion. He won the tiebreaker, and he had 10 correct picks. This week, I am our champion, tied with Mike, but I had the tiebreaker this week, and we both picked 11 games correctly. I would have had 12 had I not switched to the Rams when I thought Joe Burrow wasn't going to play, and then I forgot that I did that and just went with it. So whatever. But 11, I won the tiebreaker, and currently Mike and I are tied for first place with 27 correct picks, and OG Sourpuss and Booger Sniffer are tied at the bottom with 23 correct picks.
Hold on a second. I would like to say that we're tied for third, sir.
Sure.
And
but one of you is fourth. So
yeah. That we don't need to get into that. It's all in how you frame it. It's all phrasing and framing. I'm the only one not to have had the most picks in a week, which means I'm the most consistent.
That's true. And it might mean that you're due. Maybe it means that you're set for success.
I've been doing this long enough to know that I am not due. That is not going to happen.
I know that is incorrect. Well, we are going to get started this week with our pick'em. We will start, as we always do, with the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers playing Thursday Night Football. I am not excited for this game. This is like the first game I'm not excited for on Thursday night. And as I said prior to recording, that could have probably bled into last week, but like my team was playing, so I felt the need to be excited, even though I knew they were going to lose. Mm-hmm. How are you, Mike Thomas? How are you feeling about this Detroit Green Bay game?
I'm going to say a sentence that I have never said before, and I never expected to say before. I'm excited to see Detroit play football. I don't know. They're not the best team, but they've got some fun players. I like the coaches. I'm still on the Hard Knocks high from last year. So I'm excited to watch the true Hard Knocks, the last true Hard Knocks. I'm all on board with Detroit. So I'm excited to watch this game. Well, okay. I'm excited to watch 2 drives of this game and then fall asleep.
And then turn it off and just kind of be and see the highlights the next morning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mike Spillane, how are you feeling? Detroit, Green Bay. What are your thoughts?
Going to be curious to see Jordan Love playing in a divisional game that's not the Bears. See how he handles that. Considering clearly when Aaron Rodgers left, he left the pink slip for ownership of the Bears in his locker. That was his final parting gift for Jordan Love to get him prepared for this, was to still have ownership of the Bears. But Mike's right. The Lions are a fun team. Like they're interesting. They have Sam Laporta's kind of really coming on as a strong rookie of the year contender at tight end. Like is that controversial to say? I don't know. But he's fun to watch. I mean, Amon-Ra is a great receiver. The Jahmyr Gibbs show is about to take off. They're an enjoyable team. And people should be excited. But give me the Lions in Lambeau. That's how I'm feeling.
Lions in Lambeau. I think we're going to see. I believe what has been rumored is that the Packers rested some of their starters last week in hopes that they would be healthy for this game. They're presuming, and again, this is Wednesday night, so we don't have the most up-to-date information, but Bakhtiari should be able to play. Aaron Jones, possible. Christian Watson expects to play. So they should have some pieces back, but Mike Thomas, who are you taking in this game?
Give me Detroit all day.
Taking Detroit. I am going to look at the picks that I made because I have one in my brain and I don't know if it fits the one that I made in the league. I'm going to look right now. It does not. I selected the Lions also to do that, but I'm changing it right now. I'm going Packers. I'm going to go Packers and Lambeau. I want to be the contrarian. I'm going to go Packers and Lambeau. I think they get those pieces back. Their defense is real good. And honestly, the thing that stands out most to me is I really was trying to make that thumbnail for the Lions yesterday, and Jared Goff does not have pictures of him being like fired up or celebrating well. So that put me in a negative space for the Lions. He is milquetoast. I'm out on it.
He does look like the guy that just points. When something good happens, he just...
really like it was a lot of like, and then to the side, and then like this, like just one. Sometimes, other times it was two, but like it's a fist pump with no facial anything, and I was like, this guy sucks. He's like, man, white rice is really spicy sometimes, guys, and it's like, all right, Jared, you need to relax.
That's a phrase that I've never heard before, and I'm never not going to think of. That's a good one.
That's
cracked black pepper gives him issues.
That goes hand in hand with my the weekend. We were watching the weekend perform for the Super Bowl. This is a weird anecdote, but when I was back in Florida, my wife and I were at the house. We had friends come over and watch the Super Bowl, and I looked at the weekend and like that whole performance, and I hated it. I was not enjoying it at all, and I just kind of like looked at him, and I looked at my wife and our friends that were sitting there, and I was just like, he looks like a man who masturbates to photos of himself. And that has just stuck with everyone that was in that room from this point forward. Like anytime anyone hears a Weeknd song now, they're like, yeah.
And
like,
then the Idol
I see
came
it,
out.
but also I can't unsee it. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. Atlanta, Jacksonville. Atlanta, seeing men like they could sort of maybe be something. Jacksonville, maybe on the other side of things, maybe they were a pretender and not a contender like we all had predicted. What are your thoughts and feelings on this one, Mike Thomas?
What the hell, Jacksonville? Just the second I get on your side, you become Jacksonville.
Yeah,
bring back Blake Bortles.
Balake.
The boat.
Bring him back.
I'm still taking Jacksonville to win.
Mike, who you taking? Spillane.
So for this one, I am finally going to get rewarded after 2 weeks off of drafting the Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley stack in fantasy football. Boys are going to go off. Yeah, give me Jacksonville. I trust Jacksonville much more than I trust Desmond Ridder. And I think that is 100% fair for anyone that wants to criticize, because that's the thing is you can stop Bijan Robinson, you can stop Tyler Algier, like Kyle Pitts. They don't know how to target one of the most freakish athletes to ever play the position. Same goes for Drake London, realistically. So that is all. It all falls down to Desmond Ridder. If they had a better quarterback, they would be a team that I would be picking so much. But they have a poor game manager, in my opinion.
So let me ask you this then. Does Taylor Heineke move that needle for you? If they were to switch from Ridder to Heineke.
Here's the thing. They're winning games right now, so I don't think that there's anything that's going to change. It's just Taylor Heineke's proven that he can at least throw the ball in the league with some success. So I could see Heineke being a guy that comes in and does better than Desmond Ridder. I commend them for sticking with their guy, since again they are getting results, but I just think that Jacksonville is going to be pissed off at the result last week, and they're going to come out determined to get that dub. They're playing at home, I believe, and it's one of those things. This is made for a Jacksonville revenge game.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Jacksonville here. I just think Atlanta's got a lot stacked up against it. I love watching Bijan Robinson run. I think Atlanta has all of the pieces, like Mike Spillane was saying, to be an excellent offense. They just have a terrible quarterback. And unfortunately, they're in a really bad division. So what I think is going to end up happening is they're not going to be in a good place to get one of these high-profile quarterbacks in the draft this year, because they're going to do just bad enough, but a little better, and just not be in place to be able to take someone that's better than Desmond Ridder at this point. But yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville as well. Mike Thomas.
Who else is super excited for this Toy Story version of the game?
I'm stoked. I'm stoked about it.
Like,
but we have children.
So
That's
confused.
why we're stoked about it.
No, I'm so confused. Is it going to be what they're promising? Can it be what they're promising? Like real time animated in the world of Toy Story football?
It's got to be on a delay, a slight delay at least, but it's got to be on a delay. And oh yeah, Jacksonville's at home, but in London. That is an important anecdote. It is Jacksonville. Their home in London.
So that's a 9:30 Eastern time.
9:30 start
for all you fantasy
cool.
freaks
that
out
means
there.
Give me Jacksonville by 30. They play so good.
They crush.
Chad and Tony Khan cannot wait to move them there for good.
Oh yeah,
they're stoked about it. Yeah, very excited for Toy Story. I'm gonna put it on and see what my daughter does.
I will say, didn't they do something like this with? I think it was the Stanley Cup final or something with NHL. They did something similar, I think, with Nickelodeon.
Outdoor game. Yeah, they did an outdoor game that was animated. That was
very
actually
weird.
Pretty cool.
It was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
The Nickelodeon games from last year were really cool. Like as soon as they scored the end zone, you had slime coming in from everywhere, and I really enjoyed the Nickelodeon broadcast.
Yeah, I think honestly, like the mixture of, and not to get too derailed because we have a bunch more games to pick. This is before bye week start. Next week bye week start, so this should go a little quicker. But with the influx of like Nickelodeon games on this Disney, like if this is something that Disney sees as like they can continue to produce this, and like incoming Taylor Swift fans, the NFL is looking like it's going to explode here, even bigger than it was in the next couple of years. Like Travis Kelce jersey sales up 400% is a stupid number, but it's real.
Those Swifties.
It's so real.
The NFL found the only market that wasn't tapped into for football fandom.
Correct. And they got like the craziest, like most excited, eccentric version of those fans. And I'm here for it.
Yep.
Give me all of the positivity, all of that. Moving on to what is going to be one of our preview games, a highly touted game that I'm very excited for, an AFC East showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Mike Splain, I'm going to go to you first. Buffalo's defense has been good, very good, especially last week against Washington. But do they have the horses to stop whatever the hell is going on in Miami?
So we're going to be previewing this game. Since we're going to preview this game in full, I'm not going to dive too much into it. We'll save that for the other video for you guys to watch. But with that being said, no. Give me the Dolphins. This is the game that the Dolphins are going to prove that they are legit. The Dolphins going to beat the Bills will prove that the Dolphins in Buffalo is going to prove that the Dolphins they're in a window right now, and the Bills, their window's done.
Mike Thomas, weigh in for me.
Do the 72 Dolphins pop champagne when the undefeated current Dolphins lose? How does that work?
You know what? I think it's a sad champagne pop.
You think so?
Yeah, it's like begrudging.
But a little bit of happiness that they get.
Yeah, because they're old and like it's what they hold on to.
Yeah. I think those champagne corks are sadly popped after this week. I'm going to take Buffalo.
Really? Really? What about this? So you're the sourpuss of our clan.
The OG. Yep.
Yeah, the OG. True blue. Do you think Tua should be in talks for MVP?
I mean, he's the quarterback of the best team in the NFL right now, so he is the MVP at the moment. That's pretty much the only reason that award exists, right? It's most valuable quarterback on the best team of the league. So he is definitely, I would say he's not just in the talks, he's got to be the leading candidate. Because He's the quarterback of the team that scored 70 points. Who cares if it was the running backs that scored like 8 of the 10 touchdowns? It doesn't matter.
Sick. I think it was 9. I think our chain.
He had 4, right?
He did have. I think he had 5. No, he had 4. You're right. He had 4.
Mostert had
and
2?
Mostert had 4.
What?
Yeah,
that game was stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. I have Mostert. I drafted him in the fantasy league I'm in with Mike Spillane, and I took him, and I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I feel like I'm reaching here, but I feel good about it. And through 3 weeks, Mostert is the number 1 running back in fantasy football. So I feel good about it. Especially because Austin Eckler is literally butt fucking me. So I'm going to go Miami here. After 70 points, I feel, and without Jalen Waddle, by the way, like, I don't want to become the podcast that like shit on the Jets and is jumping on the Miami bandwagon. I definitely think Miami has the ability to be beat. My thing is they put Patrick Surtain on Tyreek Hill, and that dude still put up almost 100 yards on Patrick Surtain, like, and a tud, like, and Buffalo has no one even close to that. Von Miller's not back, so it's not like they're going to be able to generate a pass rush consistently against Miami's like still so offensive line. I don't think their O-line has done anything super impressive over the first couple of weeks, but I just think that they're going to be able to outscore Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's mental mistakes are going to be enough to make Miami win this game. And he hasn't shown me anything that he's going to be able to do to fix those in a week-to-week basis. Denver, Chicago. We go from a game that like most of the country will want to watch to the poopiest poop fest that ever did poop. At least until we get to, where is it? It's further. I think that's a 4:00 game. Is it a 4:00 game? I know there's another 0-3, 1:00 Minnesota, Carolina. We'll get there in a minute. But Denver versus Chicago. Do either of you care about this game in the slightest?
Yeah, I do like the narratives going on in both cities.
I care because I'm still starting Justin Fields in one of my fantasy leagues.
I am in that league with you, and I am so sorry.
I did pick up a new backup though, because my other backup was Kenny Pickett and Mike Thomas. The advice you gave me about him being here was bad. So.
I'm not amused.
And I don't know if it's necessarily him or if it's Matt Canada, but whatever it is, it's not good.
We have opinions on this show.
We do have opinions.
It's both.
Has Sean Payton lost it?
There's a reason he was out of work, wasn't there?
I mean, Drew Brees kind of seems like he was a little more important to the success of Sean Payton than Sean Payton's brain.
I will add one point to this that I just think is kind of like comically hilarious, is just for Sean Payton to have made the comments about how much of a shit show Denver was with Frazier leaving, and for him to then just allow 70 points is kind of one of those things that that Frazier up in New York is doing a gold member-esque laugh and just
Hackett.
Oh, Hackett. Sorry, Hackett, not Frazier. My bad. Nathaniel Hackett. You're right. I got the name wrong. Nathaniel Hackett's just doing a gold member-like laugh and just giddy over the fact that he made those comments and is now in a pile of shit.
It's just a big poop sandwich. It's a big poop
really
sandwich.
Bad.
So I'm going to say that no one wins in this game, but also give me Denver, I guess. They're I don't know. Denver. I'm going to say Denver because Sean Payton and Russ. I believe in Russ as a quarterback over Justin Fields. So give me Denver. Mike Spillane, who are you taking?
Dude, this is the hardest game I think I picked out of all this, because part of me is like you. I want to like Russ and I want to see him get back to being Russ. Then also part of me is like, I want to see Justin Fields be successful because I feel like he is a good athlete and has those intangibles to be a good quarterback. I'm picking the Bears because they're playing at home, and I'm trying to get the hopes up for my fantasy season this year.
Mike Thomas.
I think these two franchises can take a note from the Steelers playbook. And when you have
jet sweep,
a coach or some coaches who are underperforming, you give them a promotion and tell them to, go out there and just, do more. and do better and see what happens. So one of these coaches is going to do more and do better. And I think it's going to be Chicago. They're the home team. So I'll take the home team. That's all I've got.
We do not have any conviction in anything we just said, and I love it.
No.
Baltimore, Cleveland. The Baltimore Ravens lost last week to Gardner Minshew and the Colts. Colts didn't even have their stud rookie Anthony Richardson there to smash his head into someone. So they had to go Minshew Mania, and he was still able to pull out a victory in what was probably the least exciting overtime of all time.
Too bad.
I'm gonna go first to you, Mike Spillane, while I pull up some info from that game. What do you think about this Baltimore-Cleveland game?
I think that Cleveland's been one of the best defenses in the NFL.
So scary.
And because of that, give me the Brownies. Give me the field with the silly little elf in the middle of it.
It's a silly elf.
I kind of forgot that was a thing that existed for them, and I wish that I didn't know that it existed. Again, like, I don't like the elf; it kind of freaks me out. But they seem to be thrilled about it. Their quarterback's not in legal trouble at the moment, and that's good. So, like,
for now, I guess
for him, and for their fans. So, I think in this instance, I'm comfortable saying the Browns, I think, are the better team. I think they can win this. That, like, their receivers are a little bit questionable outside of Amari Cooper, but I you know me, I've been very iffy on Lamar his entire NFL career, and I've been rightfully critical of Deshaun Watson since he became a Brown, because he's been iffy at best. So yeah, it's an interesting situation, but I like the Browns. I like the Browns in this instance.
Mike Thomas.
Did you see that play from Deshaun Watson last week where he was, I don't know what he did. Just
the backwards throw. Yeah,
threw it just great. Straight, like one of the most amazing plays I've ever seen. And then I saw somebody had the audacity on Twitter to say Deshaun Watson's amazing day is done, and they meant it. And I was like, how could he recover from that fumble? And I went and looked. It was like 200 something passing yards and 2 touchdowns, right? Like, purely pedestrian and definitely not a quarter Billy worth of performance. So as great as that Browns defense is, I don't see it getting them to 3-1. I think Baltimore's a better all-around team. And even though I think they've got a couple of injuries that they're dealing through, I'll take Baltimore on the road.
So I am also going to take Baltimore on the road, but only because I think Baltimore's defense is better than Cleveland's offense. And Lamar has shown time and time again he's able to rush successfully. So even though they're going to be able, Myles Garrett's going to get his, that defensive line is going to get theirs. Lamar threw the ball 31 times last week. This is what I was looking up. Threw the ball 31 times last week. Completed 23 passes, which is like, that's a very good completion percentage. However, he only threw for 202 yards. No tutties. He is the leading passer and rusher on this team, and he has more rushing yards than their highest receiver. He's got 193 rushing yards, and Zay Flowers is their leading receiver at 188 receiving yards.
Ouch.
I will, for the first time on this iteration of our podcast, I will firmly plant my flag in the non-believer of Lamar Jackson camp. He runs too much. He is not accurate enough, and he does not throw the ball enough to win games. Until Lamar either channels his inner Tua or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen even, and throws the ball effectively multiple times a game, Baltimore will never make it out of the divisional round. They will never make it out of the divisional round because you know what those guys can do? They can throw the ball down the field. They can move the sticks that way. Lamar has proven time and time again that he is not the guy to be able to do that. They have one wide receiver with a touchdown, and it's fucking Nelson Aguilar. The only other receiving person with a touchdown is Mark Andrews, and that's because Mark Andrews always gets the ball in the red zone if Lamar's throwing.
Yeah.
If not, he's running it in, or it's Gus Edwards or what have you, who is also hurt. So they're activating Melvin Gordon. They have Kenyon Drake, who's got fumbleitis all the time. He's either going to run for 250 yards or he's going to fumble 3 times. Like, that's what Kenyon Drake will give you. So I don't have faith in this team overall. I am much higher on everyone else in the division. But I do think they win this game against Cleveland just based on the talent they have at quarterback. A quarterback who doesn't throw backwards. This is just what it is. He barely throws forward, but like, he definitely doesn't throw backwards, and that's important.
It's a good progress.
It's important, I think. Moving on, Cincinnati, Tennessee. Is Cincy back? Mike Thomas, is Cincinnati back?
Boy, it sure looked like it when I was watching the game, and then I'd look at the scoreboard and go, are they? Are they back? Because it sure looks like they're playing really well, but they're not scoring. But I will say, speaking of fantasy, I had Jamar Chase, and I was down like 12 points. And I was going up against a team that had Joe Mixon. And Mixon scored that touchdown, and I went, oh, that's it. It's over. And I fell asleep. And when I woke up in the morning, I checked the score, and I won by 0.02 of a point.
Damn.
I got to make sure there wasn't a stat correction today.
Yeah, make sure the stat correction didn't hit you. I had Joe Mixon, and I needed him to score that tutty to win me that game. Before I get into that, Mike Spillane, is Cincy all the way back?
They're not all the way back. Because obviously the calf issue for Joe Burrow is a concern.
So much of the calf.
Yeah, like it's a big deal, and if they're going to be successful, like, they need him to play well. And it looked like, he's getting back to it, but like, he just needs to get hit by Joey Connors real good one more time, like he did against UCF in that one bowl game. Because man, when he got knocked out by him, he turned into a superhuman fucking quarterback. So he just needs to get that one big shot, and then Joey B's back, baby. But no, I think that the Bengals are getting close. I just had to get my one UCF shot in there. I have the Bengals winning this game.
Are we seeing the end of Ryan Tannehill? Honestly, I don't know how he's still the fucking quarterback, but
did we see the beginning?
Oh, we did. He was on Hard Knocks as a Dolphin.
He was on Hard Knocks, and that is the beginning. It was also the beginning of the end, I think.
No,
by the way, Craig, whenever I see you, remind you I have a numbered out of 10 Ryan Tannehill card to give you because I don't want it.
Because Ryan Tannehill, I don't give a shit.
He was really all right. Hold on a second. He was really good for 2 years in Tennessee.
He was really pretty all right.
And that's all they needed to get into the playoffs.
Right. But what is he now?
He's overstayed his welcome. That's what he is.
But he's also a very well-paid quarterback. Like, his dead cap hit this year, I think, is like dumb. I think
really?
It's either this year or next year is like dumb.
They don't have any other options.
I mean,
technically have
Will
two other
Levis
options.
and Malik Willis, they spent draft capital on those guys.
No. I've seen them play. They don't have any other options.
Nah. They don't. They don't, though.
I'll just say,
I'm pulling up.
I picked
his dead cap's bad this year. It's not bad next year. Next year, his dead cap is $9
mil.
His
dead cap this year is $45.8 mil.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm
Last
just
year
saying,
was 57.
I'll just say this. I picked Cincinnati to score the most points this week. I think this is going to be a beatdown. Not
That's
Miami level, but a beatdown.
I don't think we're going to see another Miami level beatdown for at least another 10 years.
No, that was one of the biggest beatdowns in history.
That was insane. That was dumb.
I have Jacksonville with the most points this week.
I'm going to take Cincy in this one as well. I'm really hoping. The thing that doesn't make sense to me, and I tweeted this out during the game on Monday, They are dropping Burrow back to throw the ball over 40 times. The man does not have a calf to stand on, but they're dropping him back to throw the ball 40 times with a top 10 running back in the NFL. I don't understand. Use the run to set up the pass. I don't understand what they're doing. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Zach Taylor, make it make sense. Use Joe Mixon to set up your play action and like to get them to crash the box. Then throw the fucking ball. This should be very simple. I don't understand.
They're saving Joe Mixon for December. They're playing checkers, Pat. And you, sir, are playing origami or whatever is lesser than checkers.
You're playing block stack.
Yeah.
That's where you just stack blocks because you're a dummy.
It's pickup sticks, sir.
Rams versus Indy. I don't think that there needs to be a whole bunch of time spent on this. I think the Rams are going to take this. They look competent, and I would not bet against Aaron Donald. I just wouldn't do it.
This is the last week where everyone can enjoy the Puka Nakua stands because Cooper Kupp's going to come back after that, and then there goes his target share. But I do got the Rams as well.
On what planet can this Indianapolis Colts team be 2-1 and Cincinnati 1-2, Jacksonville 1-2, Buffalo's 1-2, or 2-1? I'm sorry. What's happening in America right now that's a thing? I don't believe in Indianapolis, but I'm going to pick against them again. And if I lose this game again, I'm going to question everything and just go to a coin flip moving forward.
I'm going to be a believer. So my concern with Indy, and honestly, I felt very validated today when I was consuming Craig's favorite program, Pat McAfee. McAfee said the same thing. He said it, and he said it in jest, but he said it like, I'm not sure Anthony Richardson's going to play a full game this season because he needs to be smarter with his body. Needs to be smart. If in the first week it was a knee like they said it was, I think it was a head. I think it was a concussion. And then the second week he was in concussion protocol, so I know for a fact it was a concussion. My guy needs to be smarter with his body and going down and everything like that. I think it's a closer game if Anthony Richardson is there. I think it's hard to stop someone of his size and build, a la Cam Newton, but yeah, Indy, they're an enigma right now. I don't fully understand. Their defense seems like it's decent.
It's one of the same things we used to say with Daniel Jones early in his career. And honestly, one of the things we still say now, like Daniel Jones still does not know how to slide.
No.
Like Anthony Richardson, learn how to slide, get down, protect your body, because at that point, if you are sliding and you take one of those hits, at least you're drawing a penalty. Right now, you're just getting blown up with some of these ridiculous shots, and you're getting absolutely nothing out of it for your team, aside from the fact that now you're going to miss time. So, like, there's much better ways to be smart about it. I understand going for touchdowns and whatnot. Like, that's a different situation, but, like, some of these other hits that he's taking are just so unnecessary. And it's one of those things that's going to limit his career for sure.
Yeah, I said it in a prior pod. Use Cam Newton as a cautionary tale. You know, Cam took all those hits and it fucked up his shoulder. And guess what? When you can't throw as a quarterback because your shoulder's fucked up, guess what you're not good at anymore? Being a quarterback. And like, that's where we're at with Cam. Cam thinks he's like, there's not 32 guys better than me. Yeah, there is actually. Like, I might take Zach Wilson over the current iteration of Cam Newton.
Yikes.
Like, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Regardless, give me the Rams. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Jameis playing his old team because Derek Carr is out with a shoulder. Who are we taking in this game? I'm going to start with you, Mike Thomas.
New Orleans favored at home, but I'm going Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, I'm still a believer in those early wins that they had, and I don't believe in New Orleans yet. So give me Tampa Bay on the road.
Mike Spillane.
I think we might see Baker Mayfield cook. A little bit, just because I don't like the 40, or I don't like the Saints defense that much. I don't know why I almost said 49ers, because boy, would that be the opposite. I love their defense.
If I could have all of their defense right now, that would be cool.
Yeah, no, I really just don't have belief in a whole lot of the Saints roster. They don't really have a running back this week, so give me the Bucks. Give me Rashad
Kamara's
White
back. What do you mean?
Give me
Kamara's back, baby.
Oh, Kamara's back this week.
He is
That's
back.
right. I thought he was on the same like pup schedule. That does change things a little bit, but not enough. Give me the Bucks still.
I'm also going to take the Bucks. The big thing in my deciding factor was last week, Jameis had to close out a quarter and a half, put up 0 puntos in that time, and Green Bay came back and won. So that shows me that he either doesn't know the offense, they were not calling plays that were good for him, he's not good, one of those things, and that just puts the ball in Tampa Bay's court. So give me the Bucks. I think this one should be pretty quick. Washington versus Philly. I'm going to take Philly. Mike Spillane.
Pray for Sam Howell's health. Give me the Eagles.
Mike Thomas.
I'm taking Washington to score the fewest points this week.
I think that's a good call. I got so frustrated with Washington's offense last week because I was playing against the Bills defense in fantasy, and I was just like, just throw it to not the other team. And then he like sack strip fumbled for a touchdown, and I was like, well, he didn't throw it to them, I guess. So that was fun.
Baby steps.
Yeah, the other poop bowl, Minnesota versus Carolina. Someone after this game will have a win, and it will definitely be the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going Vikings here. I don't want to spend any more time talking about this game. Mike Thomas.
Can Justin Jefferson at least get me another 15 points for fantasy? That's the only thing I care about here.
He's definitely going to do that.
Okay, good. Then
Carolina
Minnesota
doesn't
all day
have
long.
a defense.
Sweet. Give me 25 points.
Barring an injury, Justin Jefferson is going to yet again put up damn near 150 yards receiving, because he's done 159, 150, and 149, I think, are his totals in each game this year.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Kirk Cousins' projections for the year are through the roof, but at the same time, the team right now would be projected to go 0-17, which is hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm taking the Vikes. They have to get a win here. This is if they don't get a win here, and Kirk Cousins is still doing numbers, their defensive coordinator is getting fired. Like, just there's no other questions about it.
I don't know how he's not fired now. I mean, Brandon Staley tried really hard to get himself fired, but we can talk about that when we talk about the Chargers here. Pittsburgh versus Houston. Mike Thomas, I'm going to go to you first because Houston looked really good last week against Jacksonville. Granted, Jacksonville's defense is not the Steelers' defense. How are you feeling about this game?
I'm feeling the way I feel about all Steelers games when the really stout and stacked Steelers defense goes up against an offense that you look at on paper and go, "Ooh, this defense is gonna feast." They're gonna turn this young rookie quarterback into just a puddle of jello by the time this is all over with, and then they don't. And the puddle of jello ends up scoring 18 points, and the Steelers call 6 jet sweeps and don't score 18 points, and then they lose.
No, that's not going to happen anymore. That's not going to happen. He's working as the quarterback's coach.
Look, let's be fair. I was always going to take Houston to win this game. I think Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh doesn't win this game, oh boy. It's so bad in Pittsburgh right now that they looked somewhat competent at times against Las Vegas, and everyone's like, the Steelers offense is back, baby. Woo! Steelers football. And I'm like, this still doesn't look good. This still doesn't look anywhere close to the top 20 offenses in this league right now.
It's just a little concerning.
Disgusted.
And they gave him more responsibility. How does that talk that out with me too, real quick? So instead of taking things away from Matt Canada, they gave him more things.
The only thing there's two things that make sense. One, the report came from a random Twitter person and everybody just ran with it. Two, this is the corporate promotion with air quotes around it, where it's like, we're going to put you in a position where you can do less damage. But I actually don't believe that, because he's still calling plays and still doing the offense and all those things. But I have never seen a coordinator look more scared calling plays up in the booth whenever they cut to him, because they cut to him all the time now, because everybody knows his job's on the line, and he knows his job's on the line. And I swear you can see him shaking in the booth as he's trying to call, which jet sweep am I going to do? Which 3-and-out call
single
am I going to go? And I do you guys know who Steelers' dad is on YouTube? Mm-mm. He had a very funny joke of like, why are we calling 3-and-outs? Let's up the game and call on some 2-and-outs. Let's get some 2-and-outs going on in here. Let's and innovate.
Ask Joe Judge about that.
I was going to say Joe Judge definitely knows how to call those.
So you're taking Houston to continue your trend. I respect that. Mike Spillane, Pittsburgh, Houston. Who are you taking?
Just going off of what you're saying, I want to just bring up the fact that like your description of Matt Nova Scotia there just kind of makes me think of this one Family Guy non sequitur where they were talking about the Beatles writing songs, and Ringo wrote a song. And he's like, guys, I wrote a new song. And they're like, that's great. We're going to put it right on the fridge, right where everybody can see it. And he's like, oh, right. I feel like that's what the promotion for him feels like, because they're like, yeah, we're going to give you this title here. You get to wear a nice pin that says everything great that you just did, but you got to go wear it in that room.
I wrote a song about an octopus. Oh, good job, Ringo.
It's so good.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Steelers, just because I do think that, like, you know, I do think that Matt Ontario is gonna actually get something right now, and he's gonna figure something out, and I just like the Steelers roster overall more, especially because of their defense, than Houston. So
I am also going to take the Steelers. I think Matt Vancouver is going to call a terrible game, as he normally does. However, there is a massive difference between these two teams that are both strong defensive teams, and his name is TJ Watt. And CJ Stroud has been poised, has made excellent throws. He is the only rookie quarterback to not throw an interception so far. I think that changes this week because TJ Watt lives in the backfield of other teams. So I think that he is a game changer and not something that Stroud has had to deal with yet. So I think it's going to be a little off-putting when that giant behemoth of a man is flying at you very quickly. So yeah, I'm going to go Steelers. Matt, British Columbia. We'll see what happens to you. We're moving on. Vegas versus the Chargers. Before we get into some picks here, I know that Mike Thomas has been waiting for this moment to talk about the brilliance that is Josh McDaniels as a head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So I would like to give you the floor here, sir.
Look, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy. I'm not saying I know X's and O's or football strategy or any of that nonsense. But can somebody please explain the math to me of how kicking a field goal down, 8 or 7, down a touchdown, you're down a full touchdown with time ticking off the clock, and you kick a field goal, and you're still going to have to go down the field and score a touchdown in order to win. Where's the sense in that? How does that check out? What's the thought process there? How do you not just say, we have to score a touchdown either now or next drive? I'm going to try and score a touchdown now because I'm close to the end zone. I don't know. It's just, and he did it twice. As a Steelers fan, thank you. I can almost understand the first one because that Steelers offense was very likely to do a 3-and-out, right? So it was probably a safe bet. But the second that field goal got called off because of a penalty and they kept the offense out there, I don't know. I feel like from that point on, you really are committed to scoring a touchdown, and he kicked a field goal again.
He was down 8. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's a Devontae Adams touchdown with 5:41 left in the game, which made it 23-15. And then at 2:22 in the fourth quarter, he kicked a field goal, a 26-yard field goal, to make it 23-18.
I believe I saw a tweet that said since the 2-point conversion was adopted, if there was a game that was within 8 points or less, there's never been a field goal kicked with that low time left when a touchdown was needed to tie or win the game. Like, that's the first time that's ever happened in the history of football.
And he did it twice.
So my question to you, to both of you, my panel, is Josh McDaniels the worst head coach in football?
I mean, I can't say it because I still have flashes.
You have a great head coach. You have a great head coach.
Well, I just keep having, every time I see Josh McDaniels, I'm like, this guy sucks. And then there's a replay of Tim Tebow beating us in overtime. So I can't say he's a terrible coach, but boy, that was a boneheaded decision, and he made it twice. And I somebody has to say, what are you doing here? I don't know. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach.
Mike Spillane, what are your thoughts and feelings on this?
Is this his second or third head coaching experience now? It's only the second, technically.
So it's his second. He was supposed to be that for the Colts, and then his wife, because Jim Irsay spent too much time in the bathroom, his wife was like, "You're not going to be the head coach here," and he was like, "Okay," and he bailed on them and went back to New England.
Yeah, that's right. This is his second try at being a good head coach, and he's proving that he's not that. So he's definitely in contention for being the worst head coach in football currently.
At least strategically. Urban Meyer was worse than...
Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett, debatably, was worse. Sean Payton right now looks like he could be in contention for that. But I agree. I don't think it's like set in stone, or it is him that's the worst yet. But he's trying to be, for sure.
So I'm going to start this one and just say, as the resident Chargers defender, I'm taking the Chargers here, because if the aggressively neutral Steelers offense can put up 23 points, I really think the Chargers are going to, and it looks like they're going to have Eckler back this week. I think they might accidentally murder some of these Raiders players. So I'm going to go Chargers, and that gets them at 2-2, which puts them in a better spot than they were 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Vegas, it almost seems like Vegas needs to burn everything down and start over, because the water's been poisoned, and they keep digging new wells, but it's just adjacent to the old well. And they're like, why do people keep dying? And it's like, well, because the water is the same. It is the same water. It is not different. And they're like, what? And it's like, okay, all right. Well,
I'm going to manifest something, and that's that Devontae Adams is going to be traded to New York and not the Jets. He is going to be traded to the Giants before the end of the season.
He does not want to go to the Jets.
Not with no Aaron Rodgers, no.
Trevor Simeon's Jets.
Yeah. No, I'd love to see Devontae Adams in Giants blue. And realistically, we're going to be in a situation where if we do turn things around and start winning games, having a number one wide receiver is going to be something that will open up so much for the offense. So if things fall right, I'd love to see that happen before the trade deadline. With that being said, go Chargers, Quentin Johnston coming out party this week with Mike Williams being out for the season. Everyone's all super hyped on picking up, what is it? Was it Justin Reynolds?
Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer. Everyone's hyped on Josh Palmer. No, it's the Quentin Johnston week.
Mike Thomas.
I will take the Chargers to win this game. It's not even going to be competitive. It'll very quickly be switched to whatever the national game is in that time slot. They will go to a running clock in the third quarter.
Mercy rule.
Yeah.
This one will be fun to talk about. And I'm going to start with you, Mike Spillane. New England versus Dallas. Dallas giving maybe the worst public speaker of all time, Jonathan Gannon, his first NFL head coaching victory last week. Is the sky falling in Dallas?
No, because this is the Cowboys and this is what they do. Like, it's
They're used to it.
Like, dude, I'm obviously everyone's now at the point where they understand that you and I are both Giants fans. So we are obviously both going to be fans of the Giants, and we're always going to joke on the Cowboys. But literally every Cowboys fan starts every season, and this is without fail, thinking they're the best fucking team on the planet. It's their year. They're going to go undefeated and win the fucking Super Bowl. And then within the first 4 or 5 weeks, they lose to a team that they're projected to obliterate. And that happened to be the Cardinals this week. And now everyone's just conflicted because Dallas beat the Giants 40-0. The Giants beat the Cardinals 31-28 with an epic comeback. And now Cowboys just got beat by the same Cardinals team. Like, the NFL doesn't make sense. We're all here talking about stuff, proving, and these results prove that we all know fucking nothing. And that's not just us. That's the people on ESPN, especially the people on Fox Sports. Like,
those people are extra dumb.
Here's my shot. They employ Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd. They don't know fucking shit. And Skip Bayless. Don't let me forget about him.
Can't forget about Skip.
None of them know anything, and none of us know anything. That's the important thing. We're here because we have fun, but the Cowboys are going to win. The sky's not falling. This is just the Cowboys cycle. They're in a cycle of we're really good, and then wait, we're not. Like that's the Cowboys fan life cycle. They're wearing oversized jean shorts while they talk about it.
Mike Thomas, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm taking Dallas at home to win this one. Should be fairly easy. Should be fairly straightforward. Even losing to Arizona last week, they're 7-point favorites. I think they're going to cover the spread too. So I'm taking Dallas.
I'm going to take Dallas, but I think it's going to be by a field goal. I think Bill Belichick schemes on defense better than just about everyone. Bill O'Brien on that offense has been doing fairly well. And as long as Mac Jones doesn't try and sack tap Micah Parsons, I think everything will be okay. It comes down to me for the weapons. New England's not the most offensively capable team, and their line is a little suspect, but Ramondre Stevenson catches the ball really well out of the backfield. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. And Dak Prescott showed us last week when the game is on the line, still fucking Dak Prescott throwing that pick in the end zone. So give me Dallas, but it's close.
Anybody else bothered in the paint commercial where he has to talk, like specifically remind the audience that he plays for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes.
Like, it's
very
like,
much.
It's Cowboys blue because I play for the Cowboys. It's like, yeah, we know.
I am the Cowboys quarterback. Yeah, Dak. Yeah, we fucking know, my guy.
Yeah.
Arizona Niners is honestly, I know we're all taking the Niners. Is Arizona the worst run franchise in the NFL? I don't know if you saw this, Mike Spillane, but I put it in our group chat with Mike Thomas and Craig and I. And Josh Dobbs went to the team store, went to customize his own jersey for his family, and he is not a listed active player on their team. He just led that team to victory against the Dallas Cowboys not 7 days ago, and he is not able to get his own fucking jersey at the team store. Mike Spillane, we're going to start with you because I don't even know. Is this the worst run franchise in the NFL?
It's not the best run franchise in the NFL. It's pretty bad. It's pretty damn bad, actually. I'm picking the Niners for sure.
For sure.
And like, it's one of those things. Like, the Cowboys have that like ism about them where I'm like, oh, they can collapse against a team like this. I don't believe that about the 49ers by a long shot. I don't think that they can collapse against a team like this.
Mm-mm. Mike Thomas.
They can't be the worst run franchise in the league because the Browns are in the league. So
the Browns are the Browns.
The Browns are the Browns. I'm taking the 49ers, but what if Arizona wins this game?
it
what
flips
if
everything I thought I knew on its head. I will have like I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what I would do with my body at that point. Like I just don't. I would be questioning everything. I'd be like, is there a God? Is this real? Are we living in a simulation?
Yes.
All of these things would be happening at the same time, and I would just probably explode. Chiefs versus Jets. Is anyone but Taylor Swift going to watch this football game? Mike Thomas, let's start with you.
All the legions of Swifties will find a way to watch it. Like, wait, why can't I watch the Chiefs when I live in Houston? This is stupid.
This is going to resolve the NFL.
It's a Sunday night game. Oh,
Yeah,
it's the Sunday night game. It's going to be all Taylor Swift all the time. Oh, no.
It is.
So,
here's a guy who...
now here's a guy who really is going to release her own version. No, but seriously, Taylor Swift is going to be there, so pray for the Jets because Travis Kelce's going to annihilate them. It's going to be bad. And what was that earlier you said about like this is going to be a game where they're going to cut to a different feed halfway through? They can't do that on Sunday Night Football, right? Like we're stuck with it. Like.
They can't just like put the news on or like 60 Minutes or
let's hope that
literally anything else.
Jumps in at some point.
We can get the trailer for the Eras Tour movie.
Then maybe they'll just play that. Maybe they'll just ask Taylor if it's okay because it's going to be more entertaining than whatever's going to happen on the field.
Zach Wilson's just going to be in the locker room saying, "Hi guys, I'm the problem. It's me."
I do briefly want to touch on Zach Wilson. Currently, according to, I believe it's PFF, he is ranked as the 34th best quarterback in the NFL. For those Swifties that are just getting into football, there are only 32 NFL teams, which means after 1 week of play that it's very possible that Andy Dalton and Gardner Minshew are ranked ahead of Zach Wilson with very, very worse offenses. What would you do? I'm going to go to you first, Mike Thomas. What do you do in this situation? What would you, if you were the GM of the Jets, where do you go from here? How are you operating? I mean, Joe Namath, who is not a good quarterback, he is a quarterback that's in the Hall of Fame, but statistically a terrible quarterback, said that he would kick Zach Wilson to the curb, and he is a franchise icon for these people. How do you fix this?
You start drinking during the day and you don't stop. That's the only fix because we don't have enough starting quarterbacks to fill out every team anyway. And they put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket. And
watch Hard Knocks. They did.
The hamstring broke on the side of the basket on the first play, first drive. So you almost can't even blame the Jets. If you lose your starting quarterback, very few teams have a backup that can come in over the course of a season and win you a lot of games and help you stay competitive. And Zach Wilson, we already knew was not the answer beforehand. That's why they went to go get Aaron Rodgers. And he didn't have a chance. I do believe he could fill that backup role if he had had the opportunity to sit for a year, but he didn't. And he just got tossed right back out there. He's not enjoying it. The fans aren't enjoying it. His teammates aren't enjoying it. Nobody's enjoying what's happening there right now, but there's nothing they could do. They went and signed Trevor Siemian, right? Like, you're not going to start him. So buck up, get a better headband, start imagining that all your friends' mothers are out there on the field and, play better.
Just make some plays, man. Make some plays. Mike Spillane, what would you do to try and fix this clusterfuck that is the Jets?
Trade for any other quarterback in the NFL for the most part. Like there's
I would take Carson Wentz over Zach Wilson at this point.
Carson Wentz is a candidate. Honestly, seeing the reports that like Colin Kaepernick's camp reached out, fuck it, work him out. Like, need a locker room guy? Get Tim Tebow a call. Like, he might be good for you guys. At least he'll prey on it. Like, like I just really I don't know anything that would like potentially not help them at this point. Is they just give him some kind of competition, because Trevor Siemian I really don't think is competition, but just give him anything that could potentially like give him a kick in the ass to say, we don't trust you, we don't believe in you, we need you to be better, just to see if it gives him some like ounce of motivation.
So my concern, I'm going to go back to you guys. I spent a little more time on this game than I thought we were going to. But we do have a breakdown of it coming. So we'll talk about it again, maybe more in depth. Maybe I'll give you this question, and when we get to that segment, you guys can answer. Seasons like this that come in very highly touted, very heavy in expectation, when they don't come to fruition, destroy teams. I think of the Eagles' dream team, how they were like, oh, we're the dream team. I don't even think they made the playoffs that year, or they went out in the first round. I think of some other individual teams that were like, oh, we're the best there is. Nobody can stand with us. You know, Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers teams. There's a couple of those in there that like they're like, oh yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. Could have to like fundamentally shake up who the Jets are at their core. And I like I said, I want to leave this here and let you guys kind of simmer on this before we get into our Sunday night, Monday night football breakdowns. But yeah, just something to maybe think about, and we'll come back to it. I do want to touch on the Monday night game, the Seahawks versus the Gigantes of New York, a team that somehow is still in a better place than the Jets, and they didn't get Aaron Rodgers this offseason. So I'm going to start with you, Mike Spillane, as our non-host and Giants fan. Talk to me about what's important to see from the Giants here and what you're expecting to see from Seattle. And former Giants quarterback Geno Smith.
Former Jets quarterback.
No, Giants quarterback.
That's right. He did play for the Giants. I totally forgot about that.
He broke Eli's streak.
Oh, that's right. That was the God.
Thanks, Ben McAdoo.
Fucking Ben McAdoo, man. I hate that guy with a burning, fiery passion almost as much as I hate Joe Judge. Like, almost. Realistically, for the Giants, it's offensive line improvement. It's pass rush improvement. That's what's necessary. Andrew Thomas should be back. Ben Bredesen should be back. The offensive line should be back. They've also said that Marcus McKeithen's taking over as the starter at right guard over Mark Lewinsky, who's been bad. So it's really there's just not enough pressure that's being brought in by Thibodeau and other edge rusher who may or may not be Azeez Ojulari at times. So it's all about the team just being better in those areas. And the Seahawks, sorry, for the Giants, it's also important to see the Giants try to win a game in primetime. Danny Dimes notoriously not good in primetime. And if Saquon Barkley is playing, that is something that will aid him significantly because he plays so much better when Saquon Barkley's there in the backfield. But him recovering from a high ankle sprain in 2 weeks is also superhuman. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still out another week. But they're saying it's trending like he could potentially play. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, but for me, the Seahawks are a good team. Although I'm not a fan of Pete Carroll anymore. I feel like the game's kind of past Pete Carroll a little bit. Yes, they have been good, but he still makes some really questionable coaching decisions for me. So this is a game for the Giants season to not get completely derailed. The Giants have to win. And as a Giants fan, I am going to pick the Giants to win because of that fact.
Mike Thomas, what do you got?
I hate to do this to you guys.
There's nothing wrong with you picking Seattle here. They should win.
I initially chose the Giants, and then my brain said, no, go switch it to Seattle. Now, good news for you guys is odds are very good based on my previous history. This is a good sign for the Giants that I'm taking Seattle to win this game 24-21.
All right. I, as the other Giants fan on this podcast, I'm going to take the Giants here. I think being back home is going to be a big boon for those guys. Andrew Thomas, top 2 left tackle in the league. Having him back on Daniel Jones's blind side is very good. And I want to see more from Jalen Hyatt. I want to see Danny throw the ball downfield. We'll talk more about this when we do our Monday night breakdown. But I want to see Daniel Jones throw the ball down the field.
It is a necessity.
Yeah, he just seems a little scared. And like I said, we'll talk about that more when we break it down. But I'm going to take the Giants here, and we'll do a score prediction in our next one. But thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it. Let us know your predictions down below. Let us know what you think we hit on. Let us know what you think we missed on. And thank you guys again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you guys all back here next time.